Hello once more. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are. I hope you are excited to join me today. I'm excited. We have some great announcements happening. So please give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're getting this so that I can make sure that everybody is taken care of. I'll be paying attention to the chat very briefly. We will start our presentation. Our topic today is all about belonging to networks. And we'll talk about, the different types of networks. And we're launching a network, and we're excited about that. I don't like calling it a network because that has connotations, and I'll talk about that. So, are you hearing me okay? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat, and we will get started. So let me get that ready, get my technology in place. Hopefully everybody can see that. The value of belonging, right? So, we all like being around other people that are going through the same things we're going through. But more importantly, it's better when there are experts there to help guide us and support us and work through our challenges. So that's really the opportunity that we have when we join the right community, the right group. And so let's just dive into that. So let's get my clicker happening. And let's just start right off the bat here and say, God, there's so many networks out there. Which network should I join? That's really the challenge. Is we've been inundated with new networks. It all started, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago when business coaching was starting out, and BNI was the network and so forth. But a lot of those networks, and I joined one last year only to realize that, this was also becoming, more of a sales opportunity. All the people, all the guest speakers and everybody that was there was really pitching you to buy something from them. So the old style network was really evolved around generating sales, referrals, and so forth. I want you to think about this a little bit differently. We are, for sure, there's going to be stuff that you can choose to access, but the intention is there's just going to be so much stuff that we've collected over the past 4 decades that I've been involved with that we want to now make available to everybody. And most of it will be completely free. So if you are skeptical, yes, I get it. You're in the right place. You ought to be skeptical because we are offering something that hopefully is going to journey you to greater success rather than just handing you an anvil and saying you got to buy this and you got to buy that. I'm trying not to get into that space. Okay, we do run a business, so there will be times where business needs to support you to evolve, to be able to continue to grow our software, our systems and tools. We still run a business, but the network, this community group, is going to be focused on content, right? So what if you belong somewhere that actually mattered to you, right? What would that mean? What does that look like, actually? If you have a chance to put that in the chat, what benefit do you want from a network? How would it matter? Is it something that helps you grow with others. Um, uh, I see so many events and networks and so forth about people standing up on stage and bragging about how much money they've made, and you can do it too. This isn't what we are talking about here. This is not a sales network. It's not a multi-level marketing network. It's not any of those types of network groups. This is an educational platform. Okay, it's around business and behavior intelligence. In fact, we're still reworking the logo to make sure that that message is clear. I've got 4 decades of experience consulting, running businesses, startups, public companies, corporate hiring, recruiting, leading teams, and there's, at last count, I had over 400 and something modules that I need to or want to share with people. And at my juncture in my career, this is something that I want to give to the community. So it's not a sales pitch. It is an opportunity for you to access a lot of stuff that is going to hopefully be valuable to you, access people that will help you on that journey. Who is it for? It's for leaders and coaches predominantly. That's what we're looking for. We want to raise the leadership intelligence, if you like, raise the level of success that leaders have for themselves, but for their team, for their organization. And in order for that to happen, you can't actually have that without business, right? You're not a leader of anything or anyone if there isn't a business there for you to be a leader of. So we will talk about the business aspects as well. So it's business, behavior, and coaching intelligence. It's the 3 coming together to give you an opportunity to partake in self-discovery, self-development, etc. A lot of it is going to be self-help. You're going to have access to so many resources that it's up to you really to drive that. Your participation is going to be critical to give us feedback about what you want to see, what you want to have more of, etc. Right? Our mission is to create a space where people feel comfortable, trusted, where they can collaborate without judgment, without being put into a funnel and targeted consistently. So a lot of that is going to be you helping us to actually manage that space and make sure that it stays on track with the value proposition of what we are really talking about here. Okay, so it's going to be amazing. I'm excited. As you know, from the webinars I've done, I'm here to share experience, knowledge, whatever it takes to help you become successful. And I am surrounded by many others who want to do the same, and those will be participating in helping the group as a whole to be more successful. Okay, but this is really important. Success is never a solo game, right? We talked about scaling, we talked about overwhelm, we've talked about business infrastructure tools. All of these things that I've talked about in the past few webinars are really emphasized more and more by the reality of you can't do this alone. You can't be an island and actually be successful, right? So you can become an island after you've had your success if you decide to do that, but the journey requires people, interaction, systems, processes, and so forth. So we're going to talk about that. More importantly, we also really recognize this is a intelligence network. Okay, behavior and business intelligence, coaching intelligence, and really we need to think about how we think, how we act, but more importantly, it's about the execution, the behavior, what you do with the information, not just what you process and what you learn. So we'll talk about that as well. So it's got to be trust based. And when you have that support, we know for a fact that when you've got a network of people that support you and help you, that you can rely on, your ability to be more resilient and find ways to progress in light of adversity or whatever is going on in your life or your business, you can get through it when you have the right support. Okay, so that is also going to be a critical part of what we stay focused on. Behavior intelligence has to be at the core, right? Because it's the behaviors that get results. And I talk about that a lot. Everybody probably getting sick of me saying intentions don't matter. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if you act out the wrong behavior, you just get what you deserve. So the behavior is how you interact with the world, not your mind. Your mind can't interact with the world. In fact, it doesn't have the ability to do anything else except process information. Okay. So this is what's going to drive transformation. People want to pivot. They don't know how. We'll figure out opportunities for you to participate in those, because a pivot isn't about the skill or the market. It's first about you, your mindset, and how you approach pivot. Okay, and so with AccuMatch as an assessment tool, and we'll talk about that a lot throughout, because I don't know if you realize this, but we've been using it for about 15 years already. And over the last 10 years, it's really surprised us how much people have become reliant on the specificity that AccuMatch provides, that gives the clarity about what's going on, why I'm doing what I'm doing, what's the reason, how did I get to be like that? All of those questions really get unpacked through that. So there is going to be the integration in the network of language, not necessarily focusing on pushing AccuMatch through the network, but talking about the language that is critical in how we act and behave, how we think, and so forth. When we say, this person is difficult, what does that really look like? Well, what do you mean difficult? What context? So we'll get into label busting. We'll get into the behavior pattern. Is it that they are a contrarian, or they are, so cocky and full of themselves that they think they know everything that they need to know? So all of these things are really the differentiator of our network. It's about the journey that is going to happen here. Okay. When you belong, we want you to be able to say things like, I've stopped wasting my time with other free groups. Yes, this will be a paid group because we want participation, but we're giving it away. And that's really our announcement today. For the immediate future, right now, you can join for free as a starting point, but know that this is not a free network. This is going to be one that you participate in. Like I said, we need to be able to grow this and develop it. So think of it as a not-for-profit. Everything is invested in the network and allowing us to grow that network for you, right? Bring the right people. It's changed how I show up as a leader. I just heard that the other day talking to one of the coaches and the leader and the impact that it's had on them. And, belonging to, we run, or I run, multiple masterclasses every week. They are not, they're just part of programs that people belong to. So these are all opportunities of what you can participate in. I have some amazing speakers planned for us to help us evolve this journey. Right? But I do recognize that you also run a business. We will continue to figure out what you need to help you grow, develop, and implement those things. Not sure if that slide is just slow to load or whether it's loading okay. Let me just go back and okay, good. So what's involved? This is just a short list. There's going to be tools, there's going to be guest speakers, there's going to be collaboration, groups, breakout sessions, all kinds of real value around what you are looking for. And we'll be looking for your feedback. There is a network environment that you'll be invited to participate in, a mobile app so that you can stay in touch. It's no longer just all online. So you'll be able to stay abreast of everything that is happening within the group. Okay. So I touched on this a little bit earlier. It's the focus isn't about the education, but more about how you move the needle, if you like, as it says there, but the application, right? It's not just to inform, it's to create accountability to apply what you learn, right? I've shared this story many times where I've met people that, can rattle off a whole bunch of books that they've read, and the list is huge. And, they can, if you mention something, they can actually quote stuff from those books. But when you actually talk to them about what they're doing, they've applied none of it. There's just learning information. They are being well informed, but being well informed is useless if you are not doing what you need to do. There are people that have got degrees after degrees and more certificates. They feel like the need to learn is what's going to get them to be successful. In fact, that's not it. It's doing that gets you the success. It's the behavior, the action. So the accountability, the effectiveness of the group for you is going to be your participation. In fact, I'm really pushing hard to resist large volumes of people in the network, because it might lose that level of participation and accountability when it just becomes noise, right? You know what I mean? So this is going to be a critical side of things. We may ask people to leave if they're just hanging around for no reason. And it's also the reason why there's a tiny fee attached to the network, is to make sure that when people pay, they show up. When people get something for free, they just don't show up. They don't value it. They don't think it's important. And so the small fee, which is under $50 a month, it's nothing as a launch. That might change down the road. I don't know. It depends how much support the group is looking for, what resources we need to bring in, etc. So it's about leadership. It's about behavior, feedback. It's about really the acceleration of performance. We talk about this often as well. What does mentoring really do for somebody? What does this type of network do for a business owner, a leader, a coach, it helps accelerate your journey, right? You can figure things out. If left alone, you can research things, you can find things, but the real practiced experience that people can bring through mentoring, coaching, leadership, etc., that's what avoids the failure cycle that you need to go through on your own and accelerates your journey to success. So without further ado, I'm going to keep talking here about the effect of that, right? So industry leaders, experts, we're going to talk about business, we're going to talk about neuroscience, and we're really going to be avoiding the sales pitch approach, or this isn't a referral network, it's more a collaboration network, okay? Your inner circles just got upgraded when you join. You'll be offered opportunity to become a member of one of our mastermind groups or multiple of those, depending on your ability to work together with others. Executives exchanges, so we will run some events where you can access other resources and discuss those and identify where you belong. There's going to be information that we want to collect from you. So everybody will be given opportunities to complete surveys from time to time that help us to develop this further so that we can actually give more focused for the type of work so you can belong to the right area. You'll see in our network when you join, I've already set up multiple different channels based on topic of interest. And that's really what you want to do, is decide which ones you want to participate in and make sure that you are getting the notifications in those areas. Intelligence is shared. I love that statement. It's not hoarded, right? How do we rate intelligence if it's never shared or exposed, right? If it's just in your head, we can't rate it. We can't say this is intelligent or stupid, right? So the whole intelligence movement, whether it's business, leadership intelligence, or coaching intelligence, they're all they rely on the sharing experience, the talking about it, the diving into all of the different aspects of both the psychology, neuroscience, but actually the interaction, the trigger response that we talk about. The judgments, if you want to go that far, because that is actually a trigger response that happens within your world very quickly. I digress. So the whole idea, and I'm repeating myself, is to get access to pre-built frameworks. If we're going to accelerate your journey, we're going to need to show you things that have worked. Best practices, that phrase is being thrown around quite a lot, but often what we find is really it only works for a small percentage of people, which is a shame. And being able to copy best practices, a lot of people try to copy it verbatim. We'll talk about that. How do you integrate it into what you do? That becomes an important part of the sharing of framework or tools, systems, toolkits. We've collected so many tools within our platform. You'll have an opportunity to decide whether you want to access those or not. All of that is really part of accelerating your journey. When we use our tools, we're able to give away templates, processes, flowcharts, all kinds of things related to different areas. And it's not one specific area, right? We've worked with many different types of businesses, from small startups right through to corporate clients. So that information and that knowledge is going to be what's important for you to be able to access here. Okay, so don't start from scratch. Win-win isn't about me first, it's about you first, right? So when we think about how we can help others, the universe reciprocates. Everybody wins in that situation. When you join a network just for what you will get out of it, that's really should only be half of the equation. Yes, you'll get value, but you need to give before you will receive. That's kind of a bit cliche, but the reality is this is the focus of our network. It's about collaboration, it's about sharing, it's about elevating the collective knowledge, but also elevating the collective success, growth. Okay. We're not competing for status. There's so much opportunity for everybody, right? So being abundant is going to be a critical part of how we engage with people. Don't worry about who else is in the group that might be considered as competing, and everybody is going to have some overlap with somebody else that's in the group. It's how you collaborate, how you leverage that, how you share information. You could be in the same city, in the same town, in the same area, and actually be able to both be very successful if you just stop trying to compete and focus about your own identity, your own value that you bring, and actually participate and collaborate with other people. So, together everybody wins. Yep. So get out of your way and join. We want to multiply the intelligence of the group. Okay. This isn't going to be course after course. Yes, there'll be lots of information that you can access. The resources, the people, is really it's the people that make it, right? The quality of people, and that's why I keep repeating our journey, our mission, our vision is really about that whole collaboration within that. Okay. And it's not for everybody, right? And if you don't decide for yourself whether it's right for you or not, someone in the group may have to decide that for you. It's really an environment where we need to have trust, we need to have integrity within the group, and be careful throwing those words around. You need to actually identify, what does that look like? What do you expect? What's the behavior that you're looking for? That's really what we always talk about. The English language has so many words that are labels that can mean so many different things in different contexts. And we want to break that up and break it down into the real trigger response, the behavior, the observable behavior, the expectation that you have from a group like this. So join us, participate with us. Let's work together to make a difference, and that's what's important. Make it happen, and it'll be really valuable. This is key. It's in our DNA, right? The way we think in our community of behavior intelligence focused and leadership intelligence focused members, the business intelligence people, all of those, are looking for ways to really be differentiated. But what they don't realize is you are already differentiated by your DNA. Okay, you're unique. You're already unique. Your business is unique. Nobody can, I'll tell you some horror stories about some of the people that have tried to steal other people's businesses, and they can't make it work because it's not their identity. You can't copy something because it's not you. What you need to do is learn from it and build your identity, assimilate it into your DNA, right? I'll use that word quite a lot because it is about assimilating, right? When you learn something and it just sits there, you're not really executing it, you're not assimilating, you're not living it. We hear the phrase, walk the talk. Well, I call it assimilation. It's the actual living, breathing, what you are preaching. Your identity becomes your DNA, your uniqueness, your differentiator. You already have a differentiation. And so when I talked earlier about abundance and being open to be in the same space with other people, you got to realize that nobody can be you, right? And you can have exactly the same product, same solution. We saw that with franchises. I've had the Action Coach franchise, and everybody's still unique within a franchise. I was talking to someone just the other day, even going to a fast food outlet, the experience you get from one versus another can vary by the people that are running it. Yeah, the systems and processes and the food or whatever it is all the same, or meant to be identical, but it's the delivery, the service that makes it unique. The identity of that location is what makes it unique. So remember that, and we'll get past this whole competition, competing, and become more united, more confident. Our self-esteem, our ego, all of these things really will become very clear to you in the network. But I'm rambling a little bit. I hope you get the message. We'd love to have you join us. Become a member. Tell others, your success matters. Their success is going to matter even more because networks only grow through word of mouth. So spread the word. Tell people about this. Join us. Take advantage of the 90 days free that we have at the moment. And as usual, I will watch for questions as I wrap up here. It's a short session today, but I hope you appreciate the value and the importance of this. We'd love for you to belong. Okay, so this is an important point. Don't just join and do nothing and just sit on the sideline. You're going to constantly be asked to participate, to belong, to share, to listen. Listening is part of being a network, giving feedback. All of that is really the success that you get from any network, any event, can only come when you participate, when you test out what's going on in your head. If you keep it in your head and you don't speak up and share it, you don't test it, you don't know if it's right or wrong, it's not real, it's just in your head. The only way you can really find out if you're on the right track, if you're going to be doing the right thing, is to participate, vocalize what you're thinking, get it out there and find out. Don't be afraid of getting positive or negative feedback. Part of how we learn to be who we are is a combination of both. The consequences or the failures that teach us how to correct that, right? And the positive feedback that reinforces when you get it right. So participation is key. Make it about the value, don't look at it as noise. It's not just another thing that you sign up for and you do nothing with, right? We'll be tracking those that do nothing, and we'll be poking you enough times and then maybe eventually asking you to leave if you are not stepping up to the vision, the mission of belonging to the behavior network. I know it sounds a bit harsh, but we want your participation is key. That's the only way you get value. That's the only way other people get value from you. If you go around thinking that, oh, who am I to be one that speaks up and shares information? If you go around thinking like that, you're never going to test your knowledge. You're never going to grow, and you'll be surprised just the feedback you might get from other people, the wisdom that you have that you are not sharing. I've often said the shy ones are the ones that we need to invite to speak because they've been listening. The outspoken ones haven't been doing a lot of listening, and we need to just tell them to suppress that a little bit and do more listening than talking. Okay, so that balance is really important, and it's something that I've always watched and been very blunt about how to guide people to be better participants. Participation isn't just about speaking, it's also about listening and giving feedback. It's about the actions, not just the words, right? This isn't a sales platform, all right? So that's it for me. Again, as usual, myself and the team will be watching for questions, messages, but it's just biq.network. I look forward to seeing you online. Join us, help us put this into action, because I truly believe this is going to be amazing. And I'm excited to meet all the people that will be joining. I will meet with you personally, invite you to join with me as you get on this journey and join the other experts, the PhDs, the doctors, there's a lot of people with lots of experience that maybe don't have certificates, but they have, the School of Hard Knocks. They've actually done it. And there are people on the other side of it that have a lot of knowledge and experience that they've gained through education, degrees, masters, etc. So there's no right or wrong. It's what works for you, and we're going to talk a lot more about those things. And again, so join me, join us. I look forward to seeing you online, and take care wherever you are. Adieu, good night, good day, have a good one.